There was some depression there, I guess, in a sense of I turned towards other outlets. I remember smoking a cigarette for the first time, or and it was like, oh, something here that might help me forget about where I don't fit in, and so it took me a long time to realize that I wasn't alone out there. And
all these people had already told me, you can't speak, you're not good enough to speak. And they constantly made fun of me, and I would go home very upset, cry, get depressed, talk to my parents about it, and it got to the point where they just said, it might be a good idea if you start joining organization, club, sport, or do something.
So she wrote her daddy a letter, and she said, Daddy, I'm not only getting deaf, but I'm getting blind also. When we got home, he explained to us, to me, his feelings when he read that letter. Of course, there's no way to explain how you will feel when you hear that your daughter is going to be deaf and blind.
The speaking thing, I think that was more hurtful than anything else, because I had already accepted the fact that I did have a hearing loss, but I couldn't accept the fact that I sounded different from everyone else, and that's what upset me the most.
You go through the process of you're mad again, but you've got to accept it.
As a child, some of the struggles, I think, with acceptance in my childhood with everybody else in the neighborhood that I was around, could just say, hey Mom, I'm going to the store. Hey Mom, I'm going to play with Joey. And I had to flick the lights or bang on the floor or throw a pillow at my mom just to get their attention.
Accepting her deafness, I think, was just a process of growing from youth, teenager, young adult, senior citizen, total acceptance as a senior citizen.
You go through that grieving cycle over and over. I mean, you may skip the shock and the denial, but you're always
I think I grieve when a situation happens.
Yeah.
Like when he says he doesn't want to wear his hearing aids anymore. When will I outgrow them? Now he's just more inquisitive and asking questions, and you answer the questions and then you can walk away. And go, oh.
Yeah, we try to hold it together, but then we leave. It's usually like at nighttime when we're putting him in bed, saying our prayers and all that stuff, and he'll bring it up, and then we're all strong and like, oh, you're okay, and then we'll go in our bedroom and just lose it.
Tanner says things sometimes they just don't work like they're supposed to when you're being made, and he understands it.
When you're a child of a deaf adult, without even realizing it, you're spending your life doing advocating. They don't talk to her, they talk to us. I mean, this wonderful woman is standing there trying to have a conversation with you, and they're talking to me as if she doesn't even exist. That happens in today's world. They don't talk to the deaf person, they talk to us. So you spend your whole life convincing people that, yes, she can sign her own medical forms, or she's perfectly capable of reading the instructions and doing this. You don't have to give it to me to read for her. She understands the Bible, yes. She understands the same things that we understand. She just doesn't hear.
It was destined for me to become that little young interpreter, because now I'm an advocate for the deaf. I've always been an advocate for the deaf because of the life that I grew up in.
My parents would fight for me in the school, public school. They would make sure that the teachers were doing what they were supposed to be doing. The IEP yearly, they were big advocacy on making sure that the exceptional children got the education that they needed.
Time is very important, and to listen to the people, the resources that come to you in the very beginning, if it is through infant hearing screening, to accept that there could possibly be a hearing loss and to jump on it, because the faster that your child has on hearing aids, the better for them.
I said, I was born deaf. I was just born that way. That's normal to me. Being deaf is normal, you know, it's not something that I'm struggling with, it's something that's me, that's Daisy. And I looked at her just, you know, to see what expression she would have with that. And she said, born deaf, wow. She said, oh, I'm sorry. And I thought, do I look sad? I look happy. Look at my face. See my smile? I'm happy. I'm deaf, yes. I'm happy with who I am. And she just looked as if she couldn't understand that. I said, I'm fine. I can communicate. Yeah, there's a disability there, but, you know, and I explained a little bit about the lifestyle. But, I mean, it was just, I think there was just a lot of confusion in her mind of how she perceived a deaf person. And having seen a real life deaf person, she was just shocked, I think, for me to say, hey, I'm happy. I'm fine.
There's nothing different that we would have done or do.
It could be a lot worse. It goes back to that. It really could.